Hello, I am Yulinka, and you've probably already seen me in the introduction video together with Esther and Mel. Together we're doing the project Eco Fever, which is a video series in which we try to transform our lives into being more sustainable. And yeah, we want to show you how we do it and hope we can inspire you to do a bit the same. My part in this whole project is sustainable fashion, and that's what I'm going to talk about a bit in this video. Yeah, why I chose it and a bit of my own background of sustainable fashion. Okay, so first of all, fashion. What is fashion? Fashion is a way we express ourselves. Fashion is a way of our identity and of our culture. Yeah, fashion has been there since many, many years, and yeah, it's a big part of our culture right now. The fashion industry also makes up for 2% of the world's economy, and just to put that in comparison, the pharma industry, which is already like a really big industry, is just half of that. But the fashion industry kind of changed in the last few decades. The quality of the garments is decreasing, and there are more and more trends nowadays. So that means we kind of need to buy new clothes all the time. I think we all know that there are so many trends, and you buy one piece of clothing, and then like in 3 years, you don't want to wear it anymore because it's out of fashion. And yeah, that's what's happening all the time. A study also found out that the fashion industry produces clothes in a way that we just wear it for 10 times. And yeah, then they just don't last anymore because the quality is just so decreasing or the things break that we then usually just throw it away. There are also nowadays not two collections anymore, how we know it, like the summer and the winter collections, but they're around 52 micro collections per year. So that means one micro collection per week. Also, nowadays we have 5 times more clothes than our grandparents did. And also a study found out that most women only wear 20 to 30% of their clothes. But then the question is, why is that even a problem? I mean, it's not that much of a big deal if we just buy like cheap clothes all the time. We always look good. Maybe we can't wear the clothes that many times, but the clothing is so cheap anyway, we can just buy something new. So yeah, what's the problem about all of this? Yeah, so I'm going to tell some facts of the negative impacts of the clothing industry now. So first of all, the water pollution. So in the countries in which the clothes are usually produced, there are not as strict regulations as, for example, in Europe, about the chemical waste of the clothing, for example, from the dyeing. So that means that the chemical waste that comes from the factories often just goes straight to the river, and from the river it goes into the sea, and yeah, just like this chemical waste spreads all around the world. Second, the water crisis. So to just grow 1 kilogram of cotton, you need 20,000 liters of water. And just to put that into comparison again, 1 kilogram of cotton are 5 t-shirts. Most of the cotton that we use is grown in India. And in India, 100 million people don't have access to clean drinking water. But if there wouldn't be the cotton industry, 85% of the daily needs of water would be covered. So yeah, so much water is just used for this clothing industry that people don't even have drinking water anymore. If cotton is such a bad material, why not using polyester or like other synthetic materials? And there are a couple of problems with those as well. So first of all, when you wash synthetic clothes, there are like small parts of the clothes coming off, and those are microplastic. Well, that is microplastic. And it goes first into the washing machine water, and eventually it ends up in the sea. And in the sea, small fish might accidentally eat it, and then these small fish get eaten by bigger fish and by bigger fish, and then maybe some of these fishes we fish to eat. So we actually eat the plastic that has been in our clothes at some point. Yeah, and another problem is with the synthetic fibers is that they don't biodegrade. They biodegrade, yeah. So if you throw away a piece of polyester clothing, it takes 200 years to decompose. So it's going to be in some kind of landfills far away from our eyesight here in Europe. But yeah, these landfills exist. Problem is that the clothing industry accounts for 10% of the global carbon emissions, and that comes from the production, the manufacturing, and the transportation. Lastly, I want to talk about the poor working conditions for the people that sew and produce our clothes. I think most people are already aware of that, but yeah, in the clothing industry, it's super normal that there's child labor, very poor working conditions in general, long working hours, poor hygiene in the factories, not a proper living wage to even support yourself, forced labor, and so on, so on. And because of all these negative effects of the clothing industry, I want to teach myself and also show you ways how to dress more sustainably and yeah, how to end this cruel fast fashion industry. A lot of these facts that I just explained already, they're not new to a lot of people. Many people know them already, but still the fast fashion industry is so strong, and so many people buy at fast fashion clothes and buy new things all the time. So we were wondering, why is that? And to find that out, we made a survey in which we asked the people in our surroundings what are the reasons for them to still buy at fast fashion brands and what's important to them when they buy clothes. So these are some of the results. When buying clothes, quality and price are the most important. Then we asked, what are the obstacles from buying more sustainable clothes and not just at fast fashion brands? And people answered it's the costs and the effort. Yeah, most people buy at fast fashion brands. Then we also asked how many pieces of clothing people bought in the last 6 months, and that was around 10 pieces. And when clothes are worn out, most people recycle the clothes or give them to friends. However, 20% stores throw them just in the normal trash. Findings were really interesting to me, and they're going to help me a lot with this project, because my goal is to convince people that the obstacles they have right now are not as big as they think, and that fast fashion can be quite fun and quite easy, and it's also good for your wallet. And then I want to tell a bit about myself and about my background in sustainable fashion. So I started being more aware of sustainable fashion and the whole fast fashion industry about 1 year ago. But yeah, that was more like the awareness, and I still bought things there, sometimes quite a lot. And then March or April, I brought a sewing machine from my parents' house, and I worked on some smaller sewing projects. Not very successful, and my sewing machine also broke down a bit, and it was just yeah, very annoying, so I gave up pretty quickly. But yeah, during this time, like in the last half year, I got really into sustainable fashion, and I went to a lot of thrift shops, and yeah, now I want to just like really get into the sewing part again as well, to just yeah, make old clothes new again and to make them fitting better. And so yeah, this is what the whole project is kind of about, of me teaching myself a little bit and showing you how to yeah, make old clothes new with a little bit of sewing and some creativity. So yeah, I think one thing I want to do today is I want to count all my clothes, because I heard in a lecture not too long ago about sustainable fashion that it's good to have not more than 100 pieces of clothing in your closet. And if you have more than that, you should not buy anything new. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today, and I will share the results after. Okay, so I counted everything, and without shoes and underwear, I still had 26 pieces, which is not that crazy much, but it's still too much, especially because a lot of these clothes I don't wear that often anymore, because I don't like them anymore, or they don't fit nicely anymore. So I hope that through this project, I will wear more of my clothes again. So yeah, that was the first video, and then the second video is going to be about successful secondhand shopping. Yeah.